In this video, my friend, you will learn 3 styles of selling that have made me over $1 million for my marketing agency. We have a full-length exclusive training about this in my mentorship program, but this is going to be the fundamentals of what you need to know about this. All 3 of these sales styles work, and I've used all 3 to sign high-ticket deals for my SMMA business, but I've also used them in my coaching consulting company as well. So I'm going to assume you're an agency owner, coach, consultant, and my goal is to give you value, whichever of those you fall into, so that you can sign more clients. The reason I'm giving this to you today is that most people have a sales problem. You probably have one, and maybe I have one too. Now, jokes aside, every single person that wants to grow their business wants more sales. So if I can give you 3 techniques that you can use that have made me a lot of money, well then hopefully they'll make you money too. So first, let's just clear up a massive misconception. A lot of people have the excuse that they are not good at sales. Let me tell you, my first couple of sales calls were absolutely terrible. And as a natural introvert, I always found sales to be very scary, daunting, and not something I was good at. However, learning sales is not about being good at sales, it's about being consistent. So I don't want you or anybody else to be using that excuse that they're not good at sales, and that is the reason why they can't grow their business. You can be terrible at sales and be good at sales, right? It's a bit of a conundrum, but sales is all about volume and consistency. Now, the reason this is important is because if you run an SMMA business and you have been able to book meetings and actually get prospective clients to book a time on your calendar, you need to be able to close them. And the reason these 3 SMMA sales styles work is because I'm not going to give you a script. I'm not going to tell you word by word what you should say, because if you try and do that now in your current state where you're struggling with sales, I can almost guarantee that the script will sound robotic and you won't even close deals with it. Even if it's a script that I've used to close 40-50% of my calls with, you might use it and close 0. Instead, I need to teach you these sales styles because these are styles that you can test, tweak, modify, and find which one actually works for you, because one will work for me and one is going to work for you. Alright, so sales style number 1 is the doctor approach. If you choose the doctor approach, you will spend most of your time in silence on a sales call. You will spend your time asking questions and letting the other person speak, letting them open up about their problems. The premise is simple. When you go to a doctor, they don't just start talking at you and say, buy this medication. They sit you down, ask you questions, they get you to open up, and then they diagnose you a solution. Most SMMA/coaching consulting business owners are not doctors. They don't ask their patient to open up, and they don't diagnose solutions. They just try and pitch, and pitch. They somehow think the prospect will say yes. So a real life example, if you were on a sales call and you've booked it in for 30 minutes and you're speaking to a fitness coach that wants to get more sales for his coaching business, this is an example of some of the things you would ask. How are you currently getting clients? How much do you charge? What's your closing rate on discovery calls? Do you post once a day on social media? Have you ever run any Facebook ads? Just asking questions and getting the person to open up, and eventually you get to a stage in that call, probably after 15 to 20 minutes, where they have literally given to you on a silver platter, here are all my problems, here's all the things I've tried that haven't worked, and then you come in and you put your solution as the custom diagnosis that you give them. But this approach does not work for everyone. This is why I'm giving you 3 sales styles. Some of these styles will fit your personality better, but also certain people will respond better to certain styles. So you can't just use the doctor approach with everyone, you may need to try one of the others. So style number 2 is the value advice giver. In this type of sales call, you ask questions, but you actually speak most of the time. In fact, I have a couple of these exact sales call styles on my YouTube channel. You'll be able to see where I show you live sales calls I have taken with people where I've used this exact approach. It's an approach in which you give a lot of value, you ask questions, but you ultimately spend a lot of the time explaining what you do, how you do it, and the results that you get. Cases in which I've used this exact approach where it has worked is when I have gotten referrals, meaning one of my clients referred somebody to us, because in that case, I know that person is coming to me because they have the problem, probably the exact same problem that the other client already had. So it's relatively easy for me to then just assume, cool, let me ask a couple questions, see if I'm correct and that their problem is also a lack of clients for their business. And then I can go ahead and after 5 or even 10 minutes, I can start to transition from asking questions to just explaining, here's how it works, here's the results we got, do you want to sign up? because they got referred, they've already got the trust and they know the results that we've gotten, so it's a lot easier to just breeze through that sales call without being a doctor. And the final sales style that I've used is a blend of the two. It's where you combine the doctor approach with the value giver approach. So how you would typically structure this is that the first typically 15 minutes of your call is going to be you asking questions. So you ask a question and then you shut up and you let them speak for like 2 minutes. Then you ask another question and you keep going. After that 15-minute mark, your ideal goal here is that you have asked all the questions you need. They've come to you with their pain point, their problem, and where they want to get to, any roadblocks they've faced along the journey so far. And then your last 15 minutes is just you saying like, cool, John, everything you've just told me there sounds like something we can fix. Now I've got a presentation I'm going to walk you through that'll show you how we can fix that and how it looks like to work with us. And you would then just pretty much explain for the next 10 minutes, here's everything we do, here's how it works, here's all the details you need to know, and your last 5 minutes is moving them to the close. So what I want you to do, my friend, is I want you to try these sales approaches. So in your next 3 calls, why not try one of these calls on each of them and see which feels more natural and which one works the best. For some of you, the doctor approach is going to come super natural. For some of you, the value advice giver will work, and for others, it's a blend of the two. What I do know after working with hundreds of beginners in this space is that the doctor approach can feel awkward because you're essentially sitting in silence for most of the call. You're in control. You're asking them the questions and you're dictating where the conversation goes. Most beginners struggle to do that effectively. However, most beginners that know a lot about social media marketing and are very passionate about this space do incredibly well with the value advice giver approach because they get to just basically talk and talk and talk about all their knowledge and how good they are at what they do. But I want you to test them, because in my opinion, none of these work better than others. It's just finding which one works for your personality, but also for the type of client that you speak with. So my friend, realize that sales is not easy. And as we looked at the very start of this video, if you are not good at sales, that is not an excuse. It's not that you're never going to be good. It's simply a case of you probably have not done enough sales yet. If you're not good at sales, it's probably because you've taken less than 10 sales calls. I've taken well over 2,000 sales calls in the last couple of years, so I have a very good pulse on what actually works, but not only what works, but what is actually realistic, what you can do day in, day out without burning yourself out. So, hope you enjoyed. Have a good day. We'll talk soon.